We went from Dan Snyder saying, I'm not selling the team, to Dan Snyder hiring bankers to be like, well, let's look at, like, if we were going to sell the team, what's this transaction going to be like? Is he selling the team, Charles? And is he doing it this year? Like, what's happening? Is Jim Irsay getting his way? We don't know what's happening on the field for the Colts, but is their owner getting his way in terms of league management?
It seems like it, right? So first of all, Forbes reported this morning that Dan Snyder and the Commanders had hired Bank of America to help them start facilitating a sale of the team, which they like half-heartedly rebutted like 5 minutes later. It's just like, oh no, we're just exploring all possibilities. But as the day has progressed, it's very clear that they are about to start the process of selling the team, and this just feels like kind of I don't know if it's like someone came to them and said, you need to sell the team or X, Y, and Z will happen. But it kind of seems like it has reached a breaking point for them where it's just not tenable for them to own the team anymore. And not too long ago, ESPN reported that the U.S. Attorney's Office is investigating the Commanders for financial improprieties, which came the same day as the Forbes report. I don't think that those two things are like entirely unrelated. I would imagine that if Dan Snyder is really feeling the heat of the U.S. federal government, which he has already run from once when he was hiding on his yacht from the subpoenas all summer long, this might just be
he
the
ran and now he can't hide.
Right, exactly. Like there's nowhere that he can go now if he's going to be investigated by the federal government for financial improprieties. It's just become too much of a distraction on the field, off the field. The stadium is in tatters. Like it's just not a good look for him to have one of these 32 assets that the NFL and really like any person with like the wealth to acquire one of these teams has deemed as an infinitely valuable entity. You know, it doesn't make sense for him to be around. I think Jim Irsay is going to get his way. Jim Irsay is going to come out the winner of a public spat. That's just absolutely fascinating to me. But this is kind of where we are with Dan Snyder and the Commanders, which might not be Dan Snyder's team much longer.
Yeah, I think it's like, look, they hired Bank of America Securities, which handled the selling of the Clippers when Steve Ballmer bought them. And so they kind of have a background in terms of what this takes. They're going through this process. I love the NFL being like, well, actually 24 of 32 owners have to vote on this. So like, not only when you wanted to not sell, we weren't going to agree with it. And now when you want to sell, we're not just going to agree with it either. But look, like, there's a lot of public pressure. There's a lot going on. And as much as he's kind of like wrecked his franchise, there's still only 32 of these in the world. The NFL is so freaking valuable. Like, there is going to be some interest, and it'll be fascinating to see what that interest looks like, what that culture, also like what's the order, like you got to think whether it leaks or not, that there's going to be potential owners having conversations long before we get to an NFL vote, since it's unlikely that would happen until at least March. So it's going to be quite the process to watch.
Poor Dan Snyder is going to lose his team and be punished with like $5 billion in sales. Wow.
5.6.
Yeah.